You love blowing up. You absolutely love blowing up the microphone like 2 seconds into the podcast. Like we just get started like
Well, think about it like this, man. I gotta get them ready out the gate. Like, how are they gonna know that
you're here?
Exactly. How are they gonna know that I'm here if they don't hear me like all up in their eardrum? So
I suppose you're right. They really don't know that you're that Sean's arrived unless
exactly.
Yeah,
I have to be inside of their ear.
Well,
so
that's kind of wholesome.
This is the best way to start, in my opinion. This is the best way to.
Welcome back to Starbound.
Yes, welcome back to Starbound Podcast.
Yeah,
it's your boy Sean Cudjoe, King Cuddy, however you like to phrase it. My boy Kevin Cough off.
Yeah, you know.
Cough off of his drip.
Oh, I like that one.
Cough off of his drip.
Of his drip, yeah.
Yeah, it's like the cough drop drip, and then it's like dick, and you get it. But anyway, I hope whenever people are hearing this, maybe Friday, maybe Saturday, maybe whatever day of the week, that it's a solid day, that they're having a good, blessed day, and we're just gonna be the little sprinkles on top of that ice cream. You feel me?
Yeah, no, the little sprinkles for sure.
Yeah, tasty. You feel me?
You know, it's Thursday for us. It's been has it been a crazy week? I guess it's been a crazy week.
I think we had a semi crazed week, but nothing too special.
Nothing too nuts.
We've been really kind of hanging out this last couple of days, and for me at least, I've been getting into my more creative bags. I've been getting into more writing, both film-wise and music-wise. Yeah. Which, for me, are two very separate parts of the brain.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I've been animating, and tired. I'm tired from that. But, you know, Halloween is coming up, and that's when a lot of the great animations start coming out.
What you mean by the great animations?
Like The Nightmare Before Christmas. And
oh, true. That's when, like, the slew of spooky... Yeah. Like scary movies start to just kind of come out the cut.
Exactly.
Halloween Town, that's a banger.
That's a Disney banger. That's a Disney classic banger.
Funny enough, I went on Disney Plus and I went through like a bunch of different. I was like looking through the Halloween type of films, and like all these random Halloween films that I saw as a kid that like I completely forgot about, just like came back to the forefront. Yeah, like Phantom at the building, or like Phantom at the hotel, something like that. It's like, I think it's called like Phantom at like the.
You mean Phantom of the Opera?
No, that's the thing. It's not the opera. It's Phantom at the like telemarketing building.
Oh,
it's different.
That's the tamer version of Phantom.
Yeah, it's the I don't know. Yeah, I guess it is kind of like the tamer version of Phantom of the Opera, but it's a Disney movie, I guess, and like I haven't rewatched it yet, but I think I'm definitely gonna sit down and watch through like all the different.
It's spooky season, man. Films. It's spooky season. Our costumes are coming in. That's what we've been doing a lot this week.
Oh yeah, bro! I've been doing a lot of costume testing. Yeah, I've been doing way too much costume testing.
I do still want to go to like a pumpkin patch place. Like,
what is this pumpkin patch?
You know, Sean's like never been to a pumpkin patch like before.
I've never heard of a human being be like, oh yes, I would like to go to a pumpkin patch. Yeah. Until you like put it into the air.
Which is weird, because it's not like we didn't grow up together. I'm surprised you never came to the pumpkin patch with my family. I'm very surprised.
I didn't know your family went to pumpkin patches.
Yeah, we'd go to pumpkin patches every once in a while. Maybe not every year.
I've never seen of them. I've heard of it from like animations, like the Charlie Brown movie. Yeah. But like, this seems like a figment of people's imagination. Like, remember that one time we went to a pumpkin patch, but like no one's ever actually been to a pumpkin patch.
I also wanted to go to an Oktoberfest celebration, but it was only like 2 days of the week, so I couldn't make it. But
and also, we just have Shacktoberfest.
Plus, I think Oktoberfest like ends in early October. It might be over now. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I didn't even know that. I thought Oktoberfest was just saying like, oh, like spook season. I didn't know like a whole German thing.
Yeah, it's a whole German thing. I think it's like September through like the beginning of.
Why would you have Oktoberfest start in September?
How long?
That would make no damn sense.
I don't know. Ask like German people. I don't know.
Germans. I think you fumbled the bag on that one.
Oktoberfest.
You really should have planned that out a little bit better. If it was called Fall Fest, I get it. You might as well just do it anywhere in the fall. But
it ends on the first.
Said October, right?
It ends on the first Sunday in October. So
that's silly.
That was October 2nd.
It's called Oktoberfest, and there's not a lot of October in it.
Yeah, that's the thing. It only ends in October. That's the weird part.
So it has really nothing to do with October. What is Oktoberfest? Like, why? Like, what is it?
It's an 18. Okay, I'm reading the Wikipedia right now.
Go ahead.
It is
trusted source right there.
It is a 16 to 18 day folk festival running from mid or late September to around the first Sunday in October.
Say it again.
A 16 to 18 day folk festival running from mid or late September to around the first Sunday in October. Oh. It's and it's a big thing in Germany, and they
it's September
have a bunch of food, and they. Yeah, I guess it ends in October. Maybe it's like to kick off October. Maybe that's why it's called October.
Why celebrate October like it's like the most special month to ever exist?
Well, I mean, why? I mean, we do that like it's spooky season here.
Yeah, but that's because of Halloween. I don't think they do Oktoberfest because of Halloween. I think they just do October.
I don't know, but I wanted to celebrate it, but it's only 2 weeks. You got to catch it at the right time.
Yeah, it's a quick in, quick out, man. Some of these holidays, they go by real quick.
Maybe next year, get some German treats, some sausage.
You know what holiday goes by really quickly for me?
Which holiday?
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I love Thanksgiving, but it's like, it definitely goes by fast.
Because it's sandwiched in between goated holidays. Yeah. So it's like, I feel like after I eat, it's like, boom, it's gone.
But I also love Thanksgiving. Like, the food is so good.
I love it, but when it comes to actually being memorable, it's just too sandwiched in between things, so I forget it very quickly.
Really? I used to say it was pretty tied for me. I used to say between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Wow.
Because I love food so much.
Wow.
I'm a man who loves food.
You foodie. Yeah.
I love food.
You foodie.
Food's great. And yeah, I mean, I love Halloween too, because you get to dress up in your costume. Honestly, again, I think I talked about this last episode, but
the whole season
is just epic. I mean, you get Halloween, and then you get Thanksgiving, and then you get Christmas. I mean, it's incredible.
No, I think it's the best. It's the best, strip of days, right? Straight from the beginning of fall, you start seeing the world change, and then you go into all the different holidays, and then you end it off with a bang with New Year's or something, and then you can kind of there's a little resolution, falling action with
January,
going into winter, spring because of snow. And
there's not much. Yeah, I don't really think there's many in January, and then
February you get your little romance. You know what I mean? You get your little Valentine's Day. But then other than that, and then maybe 1 week of spring, the rest of the year is completely unnecessary.
You know what's interesting? I feel like although Valentine's Day is in February, I feel like there's not a lot of you know how they say there's a cuffing season?
Cuffing season actually isn't in
February. That's what I was going to say.
Cuffing season is a little earlier than that.
It's kind of weird that it's not, because you would expect that to be cuffing season, but I feel like it's more so a holiday thing.
Yeah, I feel like if you happen to be in a relationship at that time, then good. You get to kind of do your little romantic Valentine's Day thing. Yeah. But no, Valentine's Day doesn't actually land on cuffing season.
No, I feel like the classic cuffing season is more.
It's kind of I feel like it's at the end of cuffing season. If you somehow manage to get that far, you get to celebrate with Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I feel like right now is cuffing season or something.
Exactly. The cozy months fall into winter. Yeah. It's you cuff during the fall, you cozy up with each other during the winter time. Right? Spring starts to kind of roll around, so you start to come back outside. Yeah. Then you realize you want to sleep with everybody, Oh
my goodness.
Plenty of hoes, and then you dump whoever you were with, and then you go into your hoes.
You're going into a hoes. I was just saying
No, but hoe season's a thing. People know hoe season is a thing. And summer is usually hoe season.
You're starting to sound like Santa Claus, ho ho ho, you know what I'm saying?
Look, I'm just saying cuffing season, hoeing season. They're the other sides of the spectrum. And the idea is You're done with whoever you're with, so you want to go see a bunch of people, and then after you're done with a bunch of people, you go find one person that you actually really like, and then the cycle continues.
This is how the whole year goes, essentially?
Yes. Some people really follow this.
I think we have much more of a strict calendar than I do. I just thought, sometimes around the holidays it's cuffing season.
But some of those people, they're like, oh, it's time to come outside. It's hotter, so everyone's at the beach or the pool, just like hanging out. Like, you want to flex to other people during that time, right? That's why it kind of lines up with the whole.
I think it has something to do with like hibernation. Like, how like
also that.
Like the winter is like hibernation, and so like people be like looking for people to like hibernate with.
Yeah.
And then when it's like summer, people are like, all right, no more hibernation. It's time to like
back outside. Yeah.
So maybe it's actually like a biological thing for humans.
I think there's an aesthetic vibe and a biological vibe that kind of like they line up. So I understand why people.
What's stronger though? The what'd you say, like the
cuffing season?
The aesthetic vibe or the biological vibe?
What's stronger? Yeah. I think it's the aesthetic.
Really?
I think it's the aesthetic because during the cuffing season, which usually feels like the fall into winter, I feel like that's also where all the holidays line up, and those holidays are intimate holidays.
Right.
Like
they are
with your loved ones, your close family, your close friends. Yeah. You do feasts. You do like homey things.
Yeah.
When it's summer, we at the freaking beach, getting wasted. You feel like it's just like summer's like a party. You know what I mean?
Guess you're right. I guess it is kind of seasons.
So I think it's based more so on the aesthetic, but it also winds up just biologically. It's colder. We're not showing off all of our clothing and everything. We're just kind of all bundled up. We want to be closer together. We find someone that we really want to be close with for a while. There's definitely a biological half.
It just makes me wonder how different like the culture about this stuff is in places where the weather is like the same all the time.
Yeah. See. I'm
assuming in California it's not gonna.
I used to feel that when I was in Maryland.
Yeah.
In California, I feel like, respectfully, it's always hoeing season. It's always hoeing season and it's always cuffing season.
Wait. So like, does it get cold though for like Christmas?
It's slightly chillier. Maybe you'll see 60 degrees one day and be like, oh. It's cold. I have to put a light jacket on.
I can't see myself ever saying that that's like freezing or something.
You know what's crazy? Once you've adjusted to every day being warm, it starts feeling like it's cold.
Yeah, that's going to be the weird adjustment. I'm intrigued to see what Christmas is like in LA. Is it just going to be hot? Are they just going to like...
It's going to be... It won't be hot, but it'll definitely be a lot cool. Well, not even a lot cooler, but it'll be cooler.
Yeah.
It'll be cooler. I remember like... It was wintertime here, and it was slightly chillier, and I was like freezing. I was like, I was like shivering. And then I went back to Maryland while it was snowing.
Yeah.
And I stepped outside. I was like, oh, like this is really what cold feels like.
Yeah.
And I reacclimated like instantly. This is what it is.
One of the first adjustments for me, I think, was like because it was so hot here every day. I was like obviously wearing shorts because I was like sweating. And then I noticed, I'm like, when do you wear like long pants here? Because like it's so hot.
Whenever you feel, you just kind of gotta.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I realized. Like people just wear jeans like when it's hot out here, like but
because you don't want to wear shorts every single day.
Yeah. But in Maryland, like majority of the time you're wearing jeans because it's usually cold out. I would say it's more so cold.
I think for me, with Maryland, there's literally like the weather will change what you wear.
Yeah.
You don't have to deal with that here.
I mean, you do though, because you still like sweat.
No, but it's consistent. So I feel like for me, you have more options because although sometimes we go through like weird like heat waves where it's super hot.
Yeah.
Normally, it's a type of hot where like you could go out in pants and you're not gonna like die.
I think you just have to get used to it because I feel like when I first started like putting pants on here, I was like, why? How do people wear jeans? Like I'd be like walking around seeing other people wearing long pants, but I'm like, how are you doing this without like dying? I think your body just has to adjust to it.
Yeah, bro. You're just like it's not like that. It's not that hot, If it's, I mean,
sometimes it is.
No, when it's like the 80, 90 degree weather, because that happens a lot. Like, it's hot. It is hot.
Yeah.
But when you hit that like 70 degrees, which is usually most of the time, like
when you get like the wind, like the nice breeze.
That's what I mean. It's the hot sun and the cool breeze, where it's like I can wear longer things and not feel super duper.
That's true.
Hot. So no, I like it more here.
It's just difficult because like the best outfits are usually going to be like long sleeves, like long pants.
Fall outfits are the hardest. I think are the hardest fits. At least for me right now, that's what I think are the hardest.
But the whole
fits.
point is that like that's because it's colder, so you can like
see. But you gotta break that tie between the outfit and the weather.
So I just, even though if it stays the same heat, I have to. I think it still will get cooler. It just won't get as cool as it usually does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, because like over there, like you have to even know if it rains one day, so you like either pack an umbrella or wear like a hoodie that like can take the rain and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Here you never have to worry about that really. I mean, every now and then it might rain, but like odds are you'll be straight. Whatever you like are wearing or want to wear, you can just wear it and not think about the weather too much.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Well, I'm excited, and again, trying to go to a pumpkin patch soon, get some apple cider.
Yeah, what is at a freaking pumpkin patch?
There's apple cider. There's caramel apples. Caramel or caramel? What do you say?
Caramel.
You say caramel too? Yeah, that's what I say.
Caramel are those? They're those blokes.
I think my dad says caramel. I think my sister might too. I'm not sure.
I forgot that we're Southerners. She, I forgot. Oh my god! We have an on-running joke about how Maryland is is at the top of all the southern states.
We might have mentioned this before.
At the edge of. Okay, if we did, then people will understand that we're literally where the Mason-Dixon line is. Yeah, so we're technically the South.
There was somebody who asked me like, "Oh, like, do you guys have like Southern accents or something?" And I was like, I forgot.
Oh no.
I was like, no. I'm not talking with this Southern accent.
All about the fact that I was Southern.
Because we're right below the Mason-Dixon line. I think we're the Mason-Dixon.
The Mason-Dixon line. Who came up with a name like that, bro? Like
probably Mason-Dixon.
It'd be hilarious if a man named Mason-Dixon was like, "This is my line."
That's probably
said in a Southern accent too.
Honestly, I don't remember the history of the Mason-Dixon line. I probably should, but I don't remember it. And we're below it or something. Or no, we're the state that it runs through. So that's like the separating the South from the North. So we're technically the South in some parts and shit.
In some parts of the world or America.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like the South in Maryland. At least not where we are.
I think from where we're from, it feels more like the bottom of the North. The top of the South.
Definitely. But like
that being saad, we are still the top of the South.
Yeah.
Because we get that southern humidity.
But I'm sure more in southern Maryland, you probably it probably does feel more like the South from what I hear.
Yeah, I guess it just depends on where you are in the state, but I guess
we're like near.
No, we're kind of in the middle.
We're near DC though, so
that's a good point.
I mean, technically, we're more south right now.
Yeah, but this is the West. Yeah. Everything's wild in the West. None of those north-south rules apply.
In the West, north and south doesn't exist. Exactly. How does that make it? It's funny. It is kind of weird though how there's like a Western culture and then there's like a North and South culture, but like the South, you're right. It doesn't like because we're pretty South right now. Yeah. But it feels like the West.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
It's not the same. I mean, you got to remember, right? It all started with those 13 colonies, and then at some point they moved out west. So the West has had a whole different development period than the East and...
Yeah, definitely. That's why the states are so
East, North, and the East, South.
That's why the states are so much bigger in the West.
Oh, they're thick. Oh, they're luscious.
They're so big. I was listening to this podcast the other day I told you about, and this guy was like talking about how he was trying to watch like the Real Housewives of Potomac.
The Real Housewives of Potomac?
Yeah, you know that there's like...
Yes, yeah. That's Real Housewives of blank.
That's like where
my mom watches those all the time.
That's like kind of where we're like. We went to school, and I think the address for our high school was Potomac.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah,
either that or Bethesda.
Yeah, so we're like from that area. I feel like all of our like in our area, all the cities merge together. Like if you're from one, you're from all.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I feel like Maryland in particular. Maybe it's because we're such a not an unknown state.
Yeah.
But it's an unknown state.
Anyway.
It's like anywhere in Maryland you're from, it's like you are all just from Maryland.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and you know, like Potomac, you know, like Rockville, like all these places, they just kind of blend with Bethesda.
Those people that
okay, Annapolis doesn't blend with Potomac. Like Potomac is literally like down the street.
I mean, Potomac is closer to us than Annapolis.
Yeah, because Potomac is like
connected
I think
to
Potomac is technically our high school and also like that shopping center with like the one I worked at.
Well, yeah, that's literally
the Baskin Robbins I worked at. Yeah, I think that's technically Potomac too. Like,
oh,
yeah.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Anyway, he's talking about it, and he's like, yeah, the Real Housewives of Potomac, Maryland? Potomac? He's like trying to pronounce it. And then he like Googles it. He actually also said Maryland. He's like, Potomac, Maryland?
See, yeah, nobody knows.
And then eventually like Googled how to say it. It's like, oh, Potomac, Maryland. And he was like, oh, I forgot that Maryland existed. And I was like, damn, is that our legacy?
I mean, you got a shout out, but also, damn.
I know. I was like, is Maryland, the way he said Maryland too is so funny.
Yeah, that's kind of whack.
Is it the most forgettable state? I hope not.
I don't think so. I think there's other more forgettable states.
Yeah, I think Delaware.
I think Wyoming.
I feel like I hear a lot about Wyoming because it's like the classic state that people list as a forgettable state. At least it's that.
They've become less forgettable because they're so forgettable.
They're like known for being forgettable, therefore they're less forgettable.
Yeah, but I feel like you might know like something about Maryland where I know nothing about Wyoming.
A lot of people have been to our area because they've like visited the monuments and stuff, and then
because of DC.
Yeah, and then they've had like a friend in Maryland or something. Like I've met actually a bunch of people that have been to like Bethesda for some reason. Like, but yeah, no.
Other than that, the rest of it just makes it sound like
no. The rest of Maryland, like people would not go.
It just doesn't exist. Oh, you know what's funny? But people know about Baltimore.
People know about the Ravens.
Yeah.
You know.
And no, people know about the city of Baltimore. But I feel like Baltimore is like Maryland's Chicago. Like, we're not really affiliated with them. You know, like... I mean... I feel like we have slightly separate cultures.
I don't know. I mean, like, it's... I went to school very close to Baltimore, so, like... Yeah. It didn't feel like a separate state. But it definitely feels like our area is more, like, intertwined with D.C. life, because we're literally...
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, we're more intertwined with whatever's happening in D.C., whereas I feel like Baltimore is very much its own running system. You know, if you're in Chicago, I don't think. Now maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like if you're in Chicago, you're not thinking about Illinois.
I understand. Like our area is very much so like the DC area. Like you could go to a DC bar. Like there's metro stops near my house that you can just like go to take the metro and go into DC. Sort of, we're like the main like DMV portion, DC, Maryland, Virginia portion. Yeah. Like we're like in the DMV like sort of tri-state area, if you will, even though DC is not a state. Like we have very easy access to DC and Virginia. But But I would say like Baltimore, it's definitely not that in Baltimore, and also it's not that in like Annapolis. But Annapolis is weird because like I think I heard there's no like trains to Annapolis or something.
What?
Yeah, you can like only like drive or something to Annapolis. I think it's because they're trying to like keep like people out like somehow.
Oh, yeah. So they're like Beverly Hills.
Yeah, some type of like gentrification or some shit.
Ah, lovely. Yeah. That's fantastic.
Yeah, because it's like it's like where all like the politicians are and stuff.
Wait, so
well, I guess DC has politicians too, but like the Maryland politicians are in Annapolis.
Yeah. Well, wait, no, but does that mean that like Annapolis? Like if you want to get around in Annapolis, you'd have to drive?
From what I hear, it's kind of like that. I can't remember who told me that.
Here, you do have to drive, but I feel like it might be for a slightly separate reason.
Yeah, in LA you have to drive because...
I feel like poor planning. That's a horrible execution.
Yeah, but no, in Annapolis, I think it's like something to do with like...
Only rich people have cars.
Yes, it's only rich people. I don't know. But Annapolis is cool. It's fun. Anyway, we're getting deep into our Maryland lore for some reason.
Yeah, I know. Not all of our listeners are Maryland people. Let me pull out real quick.
I can't. Sometimes you just get started.
I'm hip. You just got to keep it going.
What were we going to talk about? Yeah. Oh, we wanted to talk about Black Adam for a second.
Oh, yeah. I was actually going to say, like, what are some upcoming movies that
we're seeing Black Adam tonight with The Rock.
We are seeing Black Adam with the biggest rock on this planet. That guy's huge.
I saw this like Instagram reel, and The Rock was like, it was like Black Adam texting Superman. It's like a joke. It was like on like DC Comics like Instagram, and he was like, he sent Superman like 3 green gems, and he's like, "What do you think this is, Superman?" And then Superman's like, "Do I have to guess?" He's like, because like kryptonite. And the Rock was like, "It's another rock that could destroy you," or something like that.
Wow.
And I was like, that's kind of funny.
Yo, The Rock low-key has been like, I don't know if it's just playing Black Adam that's got him to this point, but I feel like he's getting pettier and pettier online.
Dude, why is he like I know this is like his like passion project, but like he is advertising for this movie.
That's what I mean. He is like all over just like pushing Black Adam. And I don't know if he has other projects that he's also been working on for 15 years, like this one.
Yeah.
But I feel like maybe because he's been working on it for like over a decade, right?
Yeah.
Like you understand that like someone was born when he was announced as Black Adam, and will be able to watch it as like a teen.
Yeah. So for frame of reference, I saw this article that I sent to Sean, or I might have seen just something on Facebook, and it said like it was The Rock. Yeah, he posted, and he said that the first like headline that he was going to be playing Black Adam came out 15 years ago. Like that's so crazy.
That's so whack, dude. That's so freaking.
And I think I remember when it was first announced, because like for those of you who don't know, if you might have seen the Shazam movie, like for DC, the one with Zachary Levi. That's like a little kid, then he turns into a superhero when he says Shazam. That is like Black Adam is like the villain to Shazam. Okay, and Shazam.
I mean, look at it. It's just Shazam.
Yeah.
Black.
Yeah, and he
I mean, by the outfit, not by the race.
Yeah.
But like, it's just that. It's literally like if you could make an evil version of a character, that's what it would look like.
Yeah. Totally, and like, Shazam's awesome. He's very cool. I love. Shazam's one of my favorite superheroes.
And Black Adam's a cool villain,
Yeah, and like, there's like, I think there's this like 2011 like comic of Shazam that's pretty good. That has like Shazam and Black Adam, and that's what like the Shazam movie is sort of based on. But Black Adam wasn't in the Shazam movie because The Rock and DC had plans to make this movie for him. And I'm excited for the movie, but I just hope it does well enough to eventually see Shazam versus Black Adam in a movie, because
I think regardless of if it does well or not, like, I think they have plans somewhere, like, you have to eventually meet
That's what Shazam. I'm saying, right?
The only thing...
This movie doesn't look like Joker, where it's supposed to be like a separate universe. It looks... It is the same universe from what I can tell, so...
My only thing is that I feel like the one thing that might stop them from ever meeting is The Rock's ego. He might be like, no, my character is too good to be facing off against Shazam.
No, I think he'd still want to face off against Shazam. Black Adam is literally Shazam.
Oh, no, but he literally pulled Black Adam from the Shazam movie. He said, I don't think
he said he didn't want to be in it. I think they just all decided it wasn't time yet, because Black Adam was going to have his solo movie first.
I don't know. I feel like The Rock as an actor, he loves Black Adam so much that he'd be willing to never make him meet Shazam, so he can feel like Black Adam is its own character with its own lore and its own people.
I'll give people the quick rundown of Black Adam, okay? This is not a spoiler. This is like known for years.
Oh, hold on. It gotta be like
I didn't even see the movie.
It gotta be the surface stuff, though. You might reveal something here that actually might be too important in the film. So, like, very surface things. Like maybe a little bit of like the origin story, and then
I was gonna do the origin story. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. So, and this might change in the movie. Okay. So don't take my quote for it. And if you really don't want to know, just skip this part. But like in the comic books, how it works is like Shazam is actually like the wizard that gives Shazam, aka Zachary Levi, his superpowers. Like he's like, you are a boy who is like the pure of heart, so I am going to give you these powers. And the reason that the wizard chooses like a young boy to be the pure of heart is because thousands of years before, he chose someone who he thought was pure of heart, an adult, who ended up turning evil and wasn't pure of heart. And that person is Black Adam. But you can't take away the powers once you give the powers. So he banishes Black Adam 5,000 like light years away, and then he waits to find the perfect person that has pure of heart, and that like 5,000.
It took him that long to find that.
Yeah, and that person like 5,000 years long is Billy Batson, like this like 11-year-old or to 15-year-old kid, and he chooses him. And then when Billy Batson becomes Shazam, he basically it's actually like not long after that Black Adam gets back from flying for 5,000 years towards Earth. I don't think they're doing it this way.
Come to screw some shit up.
I don't think they're doing it this way in the movie, but it's like, he's been flying towards Earth for so long, so he's there and he's gonna try to destroy Earth and Shazam.
See, I'm curious because I feel like the Shazam movie, and I have not seen it all the way through.
Yeah.
So, but I feel like that movie is like wholesome and like funny.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen from the trailers of this one that we're about to see tonight, it's gonna be more intense and a little bit more brooding. So if they ever do clash, it'll be interesting to try and merge those two.
I'm actually like slightly worried that it'll just be like too much like The Rock, like because like
I'm The Rock. Bow,
right.
bow.
It's just like a little too on the nose with this like, it's like he's like, we're heroes, we don't kill people, and then The Rock's like, but I do.
Yeah, it's like, bro, we get it. You murder people. Like, I feel like all the coolest like anti-heroes that kill people, they just do it.
And they don't say it.
They're not like, oh yeah, like I kill people.
Right, exactly.
Nobody cares.
But other than that, there's a lot that I've seen that looks good from it, but then some lines just seem a little cheesy.
I feel like they act like that's the sell. It's like, well, this is a hero that actually kills people.
Right.
But then, like, it's like, we've had heroes that kill, literally Captain America and Iron Man kill people all the time.
Yeah.
So you're not special for being a hero that murders
Batman's
people.
got a crazy amount.
Batman, as of recently, I guess not super
No,
recently.
in Robert Pattinson's Batman, they
brought it back. But one of those Batman, and we all know who, that guy murders a lot of people.
This is gonna be fun.
He shoots people.
Even though I'm not sure what to expect. Like I said, like the critics gave it like a 55, which is not great. There's no audience score yet though.
Maybe just because it's a DC movie and critics hate DC. They hit him with a burning.
I'm not expecting it to necessarily be good, but I'm excited. I'm
excited. I think I don't know enough about the story to judge it yet, but from just the visuals, it visually looked very interesting. It looks like a god showed up on Earth and like this is what it's going to
look. It looks cool. I'm optimistic. I think even if it's like kind of like crazy and not good, it might be like entertainment. It might be like a guilty pleasure.
I don't think I can get a guilty pleasure out of Black Adam. It's either I'm going to enjoy it or I won't.
Well, I think I'll enjoy it, but like I feel like I'm not going to be like that it deserves an Oscar. But I feel like I'm going to be like, that was fun. You know what I'm saying?
I see what you mean. But like for me, like I can't just have fun with a movie. I have to like it.
Finally, the superhero movies are coming back. I feel like they've actually been like gone for a minute. Like this is what was the last superhero? Thor,
Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
It's weird because there was also that. I think the last time we had a really big like superhero gap was between Avengers Endgame and
Spider-Man or something.
Yeah, I think so. And like that was like a good year, 2 years because of COVID and stuff like that.
But now we have Black Adam coming out, or I guess today. Technically, like the official date is tomorrow, but they're selling tickets today. Mm-hmm. And then Wakanda Forever, which comes out November.
Wakanda Forever looks
11th or something, or 13th or something.
I think it's November 11th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be back to back. You know what I'm saying?
It is gonna be back to back, man. I'm telling you right now, I'm excited to see what Black Adam's gonna look like, and I'm very excited for Wakanda Forever.
Yeah.
I mean, for those of you that don't know, Black Panther is like one of my favorite films. It really kind of inspired a lot out of me. So the idea that the writer and director are coming back and they're gonna try and do another story, but without Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be fantastic.
The trailer looks good, man. Especially with Namor and stuff. I'm excited.
I think it's going to be very emotional. I feel like it's funny, like Black Adam and Wakanda Forever are going to be two very different types of films.
Oh my gosh, they're not even close to the same.
Yeah.
I feel like they're not even trying.
Just like aesthetically different. Completely different, like what the goal is for what the audience should be feeling.
I don't even know what the aesthetic for Black Adam is. I just feel like he's trying to be like, I think The Rock's like fully getting into big superhero action, awesome.
Yeah, like, I feel like for Black Adam, like, The Rock's goal is like, you guys don't know Black Adam yet, but I'm going to show you he's one of the coolest people ever.
Right.
Like, that's his goal.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, Wakanda Forever is like, we are suffering from a horrible loss, and
right.
we're all in deep pain, but we're going to get through this pain together. That's what it. That's what that.
There's much more like emotional depth behind Wakanda Forever than there is behind
a lot of
Black
weight.
Adam. Exactly.
Yeah.
But Noah Centineo is going to be in Black Adam.
Noah Centineo.
He's the guy that did like.
Wait, that bloke from the Letters of the Loving. Is it that guy?
To All the Boys I Loved Before.
Yeah, that shit with the letters.
Yeah, he's in that.
That bloke.
Dude, yeah, he's in like every Netflix like rom-com like ever for like at least like 2 years. He was just like the only guy in them. Wow. And then like
the Rock like handpicked him. Was like
I don't know, but he's playing Atom Smasher, which like why is the Atom Smasher in a movie like the Atom Smasher?
Maybe he's gonna be like the heartthrob. Or something.
Just maybe, but I don't know. But it's just like why? Anyway, this might not mean a lot to a lot of people, but like why would you go with the Atom Smasher before we even see the Atom?
Yeah, see, some people might not understand that, but the Atom is bigger than. Some people would understand that. The Atom is more
like,
important than
if you don't know the
Smasher.
Atom, he's the Ant-Man of DC, and he's like a classic. Like classic. Most people like know him. I mean, maybe not most people.
I feel like Atom Smasher is it's a deeper cut for sure.
It's a deeper cut, and they have like very similar powers, so it's kind of ridiculous. Like
and similar names.
Yeah, literally. Atom
See, if you're gonna have similar powers, don't also have similar.
But I don't think Atom Smasher is like the villain of Atom. I don't think that's how it works. Maybe I'm wrong.
In fact, they have similar colors.
Exactly, they have similar outfits.
So pick one.
Right? Why would you go with the more obscure one? I don't know.
I think Atom Smasher was part of like the Justice Society and stuff like that.
Maybe.
A bunch of nerdy stuff, but
yeah.
Yeah.
But then we got Dr. Fate, Pierce Brosnan, which is awesome. I've been waiting for Dr. Fate for a long time. Like. Yeah. It's about damn time I get Dr.
DC's Fate. Doctor Strange.
He looks... Yeah, okay. A lot of these... But, DC and Marvel, they like, when they came out with these characters...
Yeah, I'm not saying that in a way of, like, one came before the other. It's just
a lot
for reference.
A lot of times, like, when Sean and I would Google these characters growing up, like, we'd realize they were made months apart.
Yeah.
Like,
it's kind of weird.
Like, one company just copies the other, and then the other company...
Like, Red Hood and Winter Soldier came out... I think within like a 6-month span.
They do have a very similar like concept sort of.
I don't know if it's like something just feels right at a particular time, or is it because there's someone like going into both sides with ideas, and then like they both just run with it at the same time.
I don't know. I definitely think it's like this character like picked up because whatever.
That happens in Hollywood too, where like why is it that Batman vs Superman was almost released the exact same day?
As Civil War? Yeah.
I think there's definitely there's either scripts or like ideas running around at the exact same time, and then studios pick up on it, and these comic writers pick up on it, and they just kind of run with it at the same time.
This is a great time for me to insert snippet fun fact about Shazam.
Go ahead.
Well, so what a lot of people don't know is that, Shazam is an old character. I think he was created in, I want to say 1941, but that might be not exactly right. But he was created by a comic book company called Fawcett Comics. Not DC Comics, not Marvel Comics. In fact, I guess Marvel existed, but they weren't called Marvel, and the only characters they had...
Atlas or something?
The only characters they had at that time were probably, Namor and the Human Torch. Not the Human Torch that we know and love. Anyway... So basically, Shazam, he used to be called Captain Marvel, actually. He wasn't called Shazam at all. He was called Captain Marvel. Yeah.
That becomes a branding issue.
Like the movie Captain Marvel. But it was Shazam's name, first. It was Captain Marvel. He was the first one. And basically, DC Comics said, yo, this Shazam guy, he's kind of like Superman, because... the letters of his name stood for different powers that he had. It's speed of Mercury, it's speed of Mercury and strength of Achilles, all these Shazam, power of Zeus. Yeah, I could probably tell you the whole thing if I thought about it, but
all that.
Anyway, he just has a lot of similar powers. But he was selling better than Superman. And
I'd sue the shit out of that.
So Shazam was actually in the 1940s. He was actually outselling Superman. So he was more popular than Superman, which is hilarious because now it's who are you talking about? That's more popular than Superman? What are you talking about?
Get out of town, bro.
So DC Comics sued the fuck out of them and said, no, this is Superman, so you cannot use him. And DC actually won the lawsuit, and so they had to basically like stop making Shazam comics, like Fawcett Comics did, and Fawcett eventually shut down because of a lot of other factors, but also because their number one superhero, they couldn't make comics anymore about him. So later, years later, I think it was probably like the 1970s, DC's like, you know what? Who was kind of cool? That guy that we completely put out of business.
That bloke that was awesome?
Yeah.
That one guy that we sued the daylights out.
Yeah, like
that's hilarious.
Captain Marvel. He was cool. Like, so they decide to buy the Captain Marvel, aka Shazam, copyright or whatever from Fawcett Comics.
That's hilarious because also Fawcett Comics couldn't print Captain
Shazam,
Marvel.
yeah.
So they were kind of screwed.
Yeah, so it was a win-win for DC basically, and an LL for Cool J. No, I'm just kidding. Get it. For sorry.
No, that's clever. That's clever.
It was.
I hope y'all picked up on that. That was clever.
It was an LL for Fawcett, and so they sold the rights to Shazam / Captain Marvel to DC. The problem was that by this time, Marvel already they already switched their name to Marvel, and what is that noise?
I think it's the cleaning sweeper people.
Yeah. They already switched their names to Marvel, and they took that trademark of Captain Marvel ASAP because it wasn't being used anymore because Shazam was shut down years earlier. Shazam was originally just the name of the wizard that gave Billy Batson his powers.
Yeah.
And Billy Batson, the kid, would say Shazam because he's like summoning the wizard from the skies to strike lightning down on him so he could turn into Captain Marvel. That was the whole concept. That he just says Shazam to become Captain Marvel because he's summoning it from the wizard. But then DC couldn't title it Captain Marvel on the front of the comic anymore because Marvel took because Marvel took the trademark with Carol Danvers and stuff. So and
Captain Marvel and those Marvel characters.
All those other Marvel characters that were created. So DC instead
literal Marvel characters.
They titled the comic book The Power of Shazam, and then they called him Captain Marvel inside the comic book, but they couldn't say it on the cover. And then it just got confusing. So in 2011, DC just decided to start calling him Shazam instead of Captain Marvel.
I think that was a good decision.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I don't really care.
Because it's like, if the cover says Shazam, and the kid says Shazam to turn into his powers.
And most people refer to him as Shazam anyway.
Yeah, so it's like, you might as well just call him Shazam at this point.
But it's kind of like Frankenstein's monster, because how people just say Frankenstein for Frankenstein's monster?
Oh, yeah.
It's like
it's Frankenstein, but it's actually Frankenstein's monster.
Technically, or in the past, it's like, his name is not Shazam. Shazam's like the wizard that gave him his powers, but his name is Captain Marvel.
Yeah, who cares? You ever think about that?
I mean, I don't really care when people say Frankenstein, but some people care. Some people care.
Those blokes that care, y'all are blokes and sticklers, and just shut the fuck up.
Do you think they'll rename him to just Frankenstein now?
They'll call him Frank.
They'll just call him Frank. That's not.
There's Frankenstein and then there's Frank, and it's two separate people.
Yeah, why not?
And this is Dr. Frankenstein, and then
Frankenstein's monster. Yeah.
There was that book about Frankenstein where they had a whole kind of discussion about how the identity of this man is really the monster now more so than him himself, and is he the monster? And it was good. I think it was called Frankenstein.
Wait, this was a book about the making of Frankenstein?
No, this is a book about the story of Frankenstein. But inside the world, he has a little monologue about am I the monster? Basically, something like that. It was interesting.
That is interesting.
But yeah, no. Captain Marvel and I guess Black Adam with it too.
Oh my god,
complicated. History.
It does have complicated history. And one of the funniest things is the movie Captain Marvel came out at the same time as Shazam.
Wait, what?
Yeah, the Carol Danvers Marvel movie. It came out at the same time. So I actually have a photo. I have a photo of a movie theater that says Shazam, and then right under it says Captain Marvel. And I was like, who could have guessed
That's
that
funny.
a
Shazam would come out
at the same time. At the same time as Shazam movie came out, a movie titled Captain Marvel come out. You could mistake those for the same movie.
No, exactly. That's funny.
Yeah,
that is funny.
Imagine some old comic book fan walked up to the ticket seller. I was like, "Can I get a ticket for that Captain Marvel?" and they're like they mean Shazam because they know Shazam's Captain Marvel. But then they
would have to be like 80 years old, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, Shazam is like fucking 80 years old. I mean, Shazam's like...
That's what I mean, but if Shazam is like 80 years old, and they have to be a kid reading those at the time, and just stepped out of the media, they would have to be old.
Imagine, like, the one, like, Die Hard.
Like near death. They're going to be like, yes, I'd like to get a ticket to that.
Yeah, this is, like, so near to their death. It's, like, the last film they get to see.
And it's the wrong Captain Marvel.
Yeah, and it's the wrong Captain Marvel.
That's funny.
Yeah. That would be really sad. I bet there's one guy out there.
That's probably like, shit. Just passes out. Passes in the theater. The moment he sees her instead, like, fuck.
I feel so bad for that guy.
Poor old man.
Yeah.
Poor old man.
I feel so bad for that guy.
It happens. Anyway, I'd like to. I wanted to share this earlier, but I guess I'll share this now.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about streaming services.
Yeah. We were just talking about this because there's like this huge like buy with like Warner Bros. Discovery.
Yeah, so this I think this purchase might have happened. I mean, by now I think it's been months.
Yeah.
But there are these things circulating that they're gonna shut down HBO Max and then move it to Discovery Plus.
I'm so tired of these streaming services closing and then like merging.
Yeah, for you it's funny because you were on DC Uni, which is that old. Now it's an old streaming service.
Yeah, so like there was this DC Comics streaming service, and I bought it because it had like Titans and like Doom Patrol and Young Justice.
That one thing I was like, fuck that.
Yeah, it had and it had like Teen Titans, like the classic TV show, and like
just all that good DC like content.
Yeah, all the animated stuff growing up that you probably saw, like and. Then they decided to close that one down and put all that stuff on HBO Max.
I don't know. Did they also shut down? Because HBO had their own little like streaming service for their shows before HBO Max became like the thing.
What was it called?
I think it was called
HBO Now or
HBO Now or something like that.
Yeah,
it was just for like HBO's like Game of Thrones and.
That's a good question. I don't know if that's still up or not. That's a good question.
Yeah, because I think they might shut down everything and just put it all together to make HBO Max.
But HBO Max I was fine with because it like runs well.
And it makes sense, honestly, to just put them. You're all in the same boat. So
my one problem with HBO Max is the volume. We noticed we had a volume.
Yeah, I feel like the HBO Max, the vault or the audio is in like a theater surround sound style of like really louds and really quiet.
Maybe we just have to change the setting on our TV or something.
Something like that. But I would love if like one of these streaming services just gives you a bunch of options on how you want the picture to look, how you want the audio to sound. Like, just let me have a bunch of options on how I want to see this because it's my TV and my TV is not going to be the great theater experience.
But now it's also like what Discovery bought Warner Bros. And then it's like they're going to merge it in another streaming service.
Yeah, so Discovery bought HBO Max Warner Brothers. Period. Right. Yeah. And good on them. I think Warner Brothers is a great purchase, but they're thinking, well, we have our own streaming service, and we might as well just have one.
It's just like I'm tired of all these like buys and then this like you know what I'm saying.
I think that's what it's all going to come down to eventually because it's a little ridiculous that there's so many. Like not everyone deserves to have a streaming service.
Not everyone. That's just so true. It's it's like why are there like so many? And like okay, let's get our roasts in because. Paramount Plus is the worst streaming service that I've ever experienced. It's god awful.
It's horrible.
It's god awful.
If I could honestly send anything straight to hell, it would be Paramount
Plus.
Plus.
Who is running this thing? It doesn't work. Like
it doesn't work at all.
You try pausing it, and you can pause it, and then you back out. Like it doesn't save your space.
It does not save it doesn't save your login.
It doesn't
just to start there.
Oh yeah,
it doesn't save your login.
On the PS4, it doesn't save your login, so I have to re-log in every single time.
Unlike the other ones that are there. And on top of that, if you exit out of whatever episode or film that you're watching,
it doesn't save your spot. And you almost always have to re-watch like 2 ads before you when you go back in.
The ads run crisp.
Yeah,
smooth ads.
There are no issues. The shows like freeze.
The content freezes. Is stuttering.
Yeah, like
the quality dips.
Yeah, it stutters.
But the ads, high definition,
high quality,
never stutters once,
never fails to play. Like,
buffering, no issues.
Literally, it is one of the worst. It's just like
no options for how you want the picture or the sound to look.
Like, this isn't a good example of you clearly don't understand. Like, you don't have coders that actually know how to do their job. So please just give your content to another streaming service and then just let us watch
or
it.
Or, Paramount Plus just shut down.
Yeah.
Honestly. Because it's embarrassing that after... how old is YouTube by now? A decade and a half?
2005.
2 decades, right? About 2 decades, give or take.
How many
a little
years?
less than 2 decades. YouTube has been up and running for a little less than 2 decades.
Yeah.
They have perfected streaming video.
Yeah.
Right? Netflix saw that, picked it up, did their own thing. They have perfected streaming movies and TV.
And YouTube has ads.
Right?
YouTube has ads.
YouTube is some of the worst when it comes to giving you way too many ads. What? I'm watching a 30-second video. I got 2-minute ads.
Right.
What is it?
But at least it runs. I mean, Paramount Plus.
It runs though. It runs, and then on top of that, Disney Plus and HBO Max, they might not be as crisp as the way Netflix runs or YouTube runs, but they picked up on what they could do and did it. Why is Paramount Plus outdated and it's the youngest of the pluses?
I don't know, man.
How does that make any sense?
It doesn't.
It feels so outdated. It feels like MySpace. Like,
it's honestly just god awful, and nobody should pay for it. But sometimes it's got this.
I can't. You know what's funny? If they just made their streaming service at least, because I know content can be an issue on like buying content, streaming it, or like just trying to make new content.
Yeah.
But at least have your system work. And if your system worked, I wouldn't feel so obligated to bash you and make sure nobody purchases.
No, rarely do I feel this passionate about roasting a company, but it's like, get your together. Yeah, honestly, it's awful.
And honestly, there shouldn't be any streaming services in existence. It's illegal.
What?
It's illegal.
A streaming service?
Yo, Kevin, I'm about to break something down for you.
What?
I'm about to. Funny enough, so in film history, right?
Yeah.
The film heads would know this, but there's this thing called the Paramount decision.
Okay.
And what had happened was
Paramount Plus decision.
Ironic enough, but what had happened was that all of the major studios that were making their movies, right? Yeah. Disney, Warner Brothers. I think at the time there was like RKO. There was some MGM. There were some big heads at the time. They were all making their movies and showing them in their own personal theaters. So you go to like a 20th Century Fox theater and a Warner Brothers theater. There were different theaters.
Right.
And because they were all separated, all the movies were in separate theaters. So your local theater would only have Disney movies, and a different local theater would only have Fox movies, and it was horrible. So the government stepped in and said, yo, you have way too much control over this monopoly of business where you're like making the movies and exhibitioning the movies, and like,
I remember reading about
there's nothing in between.
Right. Yeah.
So the decision was that, all right, if you're gonna make movies, you can only make the movies.
Yeah.
And if you're going to show the movies in a theater, you can only show the movies in a theater.
Yeah.
Which is why you have, Fox and Warner Brothers, and I guess Fox is Disney now.
Yeah.
But like these studios that make the movies, and then you have AMC and Regal that have the theater.
Because I remember originally there was like, because the like big studios had so much control, they would make like A movies, B movies, and like C movies. And they would send you like their A movie. Say their A movie is like Wakanda Forever.
Yeah.
And then they send you like B movies, which are like a package deal.
Yeah.
So then they would
shitty movies that no one wants to watch.
No one wants to watch, but they would make you show them to play in order to play the best one and stuff like that. Yeah.
So it was criminal. It was just criminal, right? So government decided to separate those powers.
Yeah.
But now, right? I think it really starts with Netflix starting to create their own content.
Yeah.
The studios were like, oh shit, we can go back to being a monopoly.
Oh.
So now every major studio or any even little studio wants their own streaming service like it's anything special.
Oh, so you're saying the premise of Netflix even making their own content is kind of like
the idea that the distributor, right,
Yeah.
the person showing you the film is also the person that made it is wrong. It's actually illegal.
So you're saying that Netflix should have just stayed how Netflix originally was, basically, and not made any new content.
I you know what? Even though if you know me, you know that I am not a huge fan of Netflix.
Yeah.
But I feel for them because I think they understood that it's not a very viable business to be relying on other people's content.
Yeah.
So they thought, well, to get a little bit more money, what if we made it in-house?
Yeah.
I don't blame that concept. But it also brings their downfall because Netflix doesn't have the background, like, IPs to keep their stuff going. Whereas Warner Brothers has DC, right?
Yeah.
Disney has Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like, they have big IPs, and just Disney in general, like Mickey Mouse, they have IPs to keep them going forever. So once you show studios that you can make them like how they can, they're like, well, we can just stream it.
But Netflix is building their IPs now, like Stranger Things.
Netflix is getting better, but they still only have, like, what? Stranger Things. Squid Game was cool. We'll see if that next season
There's a bunch of TV shows on there that people love.
Not enough.
You don't think so?
The way that Netflix keeps shooting out, like, random fucking content tells me that they don't have enough content. They don't have enough, like, brands.
But you're saying it should be illegal for Netflix to make their own content?
I think it should be illegal for all of these people to be dabbling in both ends. It's wrong.
Interesting.
It's very because this hurts consumers.
I think the issue does come to... Go ahead.
Like, instead of going to a theater where you can watch your Fox movies, your Disney movies, your whatever movie you want to watch, right? Yeah. You're now doing with streaming services where you have to go to one streaming service for this, a different one for that, and then all of a sudden you're paying, like, what, $70? You're basically paying for, like, cable to just watch what you want to watch. It's wrong on consumers.
That's a good point. It's almost like Regal or AMC should have the streaming service.
That's what I'm saying. It should be like AMC Plus, and instead of watching it in theaters, you can watch it in streaming, but you can watch anything, whatever you want to watch.
It's an interesting point because they can charge a ridiculous amount of money. They are for all this stuff, and it's like maybe Netflix shouldn't be allowed to make their own shows.
And on top of that, it's hurting the theaters because the theaters can't go and make movies.
Yeah,
you know, it's not fair.
Yeah,
it's not fair. So, I personally hope that in the future, either all of these streaming services become just like one big streaming service, so that consumers can just take it easy, or all of them shut down, and then the theaters can make their own streaming services and just stream their movies as they're.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome if I could pay for like a Regal streaming service or AMC, and that's it.
Just for like a month, you can watch like.
Yeah, and like I can, even if it's like 3 months after it came out, if I can like see those movies on the streaming service, that'd be worth it. Because
there's that whole grace period before it hits DVD where people want to watch that film. Yeah, and that's where streaming service I think is so beautiful.
Yeah,
you don't have to go to a store and wait for something to come out. You can watch it right then and there.
Right.
Or sometimes you want to watch an old film, but it's so old the discs aren't in the shops anymore.
Yeah.
Or even in fact, people don't really have DVD players anymore. It's like, what do you do? That's the beauty and power of streaming services. But
it's a good point.
But damn, you know, like
damn correct.
And it's hurting our poor theaters, man. It's hurting our poor theaters. You got to keep them going.
Look at us, like these like film students, just like complaining about the injustice in the.
And it's weird because like it's a double-edged sword because there's so many streaming services all making their own content. Yeah. There's now more ways or opportunities for people to get into the film industry.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Or the TV show industry, the entertainment industry, period. Because the selling point of all these services that they have content.
And to watch movies, there's more things for people to watch.
Exactly. It increases for everybody. Yeah. So in a way it does help the creators because they have more avenues to create, but I don't like the system, period. So I'm going to take that out.
Dang. So that's the question of the day. It's like, are you pro Netflix making their own content and distributing it to us? Mm-hmm. Or do you think that distributors should not be the creators?
Exactly.
What do you think?
I can tell you one answer.
Yeah.
There is one with barely any fucking content that their system doesn't fucking work and honestly needs to go straight to the gates of hell.
Paramount Plus.
Paramount fucking Plus.
Yeah, Paramount Plus.
Burn in hell, Paramount Plus. I really hope, because Paramount has some interesting backlog movies. Like, go elsewhere, dude. Honestly, if Paramount could just give their, like, iCarly and that shit to, like, other streaming services, that'd be fantastic. I don't want to watch anything on Paramount Plus. I fucking hate Paramount Plus. Every time I see it open, I'm like,
but it's the only way.
I groan.
It's the only place that has every season of Survivor.
See, and that's how they got me. You see, is it fair that a streaming service can get you by one thing?
No.
You see, it.
But it's just how we are. That's how we are as humans. I mean, Netflix could get. There's always like the one thing that's gonna be like, yeah, okay, I gotta get it.
Yeah. Stranger Things, I know, is a big sell for Netflix. I think people always come back for that.
Yeah.
But here's another funny thing about streaming services. They also changed the way TV works.
Yeah.
Instead of it being like...
We don't have cable.
Exactly. We don't have cable at all. And because of that, the way that they're shot and like written are different. They're more like long movies than episodic tune in next week episodes now. So.
Yeah, if you would have told me I would be living without cable a few years ago, I'd be like, no way. But like now it's so easy to live.
It's the future, man.
Like,
I'm curious what happens even further down the line. It's like, oh, we're not doing this anymore. We're not on streaming services. Like,
right.
Yeah,
but it's like now you just put on YouTube and like you can even get the news on YouTube.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was watching during the whole unfortunate, what's going on in Ukraine.
Russia,
what's going on with the Russia-Ukraine war. I was watching all of that.
Yeah. On YouTube. That's what I'm saying.
In the comfort of my home.
It's all on YouTube. Like you can get like there's literally just like NBC live stream on YouTube.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know where you would go other than YouTube for news. Like.
Well, I know cable.
But I don't have cable.
Exactly.
Also, fuck cable. You know what? I know I said
actually you might not need cable to get like channel 4, but you need like
an antenna thing or something. Yeah, I don't have an antenna either.
Yeah.
And you know how I said like fuck the streaming services and all that, and fuck the studios for dabbling in both. I'd fuck cable most of all. Like I'd rather deal with this shit than fucking cable.
I kind of miss on demand.
Cable's illegal, bro. The way that they charge you $70 for maybe 3 channels is criminal. It's criminal.
Yeah, I mean, cable's not. I guess. Yeah, what do you prefer, cable or streaming? Right?
Streaming, definitely streaming. Definitely streaming.
It's probably about even, honestly, because they do charge you a lot for cable. So it's like
you see, but with cable, you're only gonna watch the 3 or 4 channels that you normally always watch, right?
The best shit was on HBO anyway. You can get all the HBO stuff
exactly
on HBO Max.
Exactly, but with streaming, I feel like what's actually good content that you want to see is being pushed more, and there's more of it.
Yeah.
And so if you collect every streaming service, it equals the same price of cable.
Yeah.
But you get more for your buck, like actual quality.
I agree. I do think you get more bang for your buck now.
So yeah, man, fuck. Oh my god, I could go all.
In summary,
next episode, I'll go on a huge rant about cable.
In summary,
it is illegal.
Yeah, in summary, cable sucks, and streaming it can be tweaked, but it's okay for.
We're on the way. I feel like we're on the way to like a perfect entertainment platform for people.
Are there any updates about life that you wanted to update on before next episode?
On life in general, I've opened up, for me, the last couple of months have been a bit of a journey for me to unwind myself. Yeah. I feel like at the start of adulthood and through my childhood development, I learned to close everything up and just play ball with whatever I needed to be.
Okay.
And my journey the last couple of months to a year now is reopening the hatch and figuring out who am I, what do I want, what do I like, why do I do certain things, is there a way to improve upon my life? And I had a weird feeling the other night of remember when I asked someone over for a sleepover just to hang out and show them a little bit of stuff that I like. I've done that only a couple of times, but I think I rarely do that because I bottle a lot of shit in and I don't share. I don't like sharing myself.
Yeah.
It's a very vulnerable space to be in. So I'm trying to take the first couple of steps to
you're trying to open
being
yourself.
vulnerable.
Yeah.
That's my journey so far. After my mom told me hey, you don't like being vulnerable, I'm all right, that's what I'm gonna try and tackle, being vulnerable.
Right.
So,
totally.
Yeah. Should be fun. What about you? How's your life been?
It's been good, man. I think something I learned about myself is that I feel like in 8th grade or something, I was so introverted and I preferred spending time by myself. But nowadays, I feel much more extroverted, and I'm not entirely.
That's funny.
Sure.
I'm still very introverted.
Yeah, it's so weird. I feel like I thought you would be more extroverted than I am, but I think it's very clear
that's not true.
That you're much more introverted than I am now at this point in our lives.
Yeah.
And I feel like I used to be much more like introverted. Like
no, we just had a whole. It wasn't a fight, but we had a whole discussion about this last night about like you're like, oh, like let's go out and whatever. I'm like, nope. What sounds good to me is being in bed.
That's the thing. Like, most of the time, like we'll wake up and I'll be like, all right, Sean, let's get out of the house. And Sean's like, no. Why would you want to leave the house? I'm like super, and I'm just trying to get like the sun or like some vitamin D or whatever. But Sean's like, nah, bro, I'm staying inside all day. And I'm like, no, I can't stay inside all day. You know, I can't do that.
I can do that, man. It gets comfortable. I mean, after a while, I'm like, all right, it's time to go. But I think that for me, that's like 2 days. Like 1 day inside, 1 day outside, and then alternate.
Yeah, you can like stay inside the whole day. I cannot do that. I would go crazy.
That's whack. Yeah. It's not whack, but it's like
I like driving a lot.
It's just different for me. Like I don't have that feeling of like I'm gonna go crazy. I'm like no, like this is so comfortable, and like I can like fully express whatever it is I want to do because you know. I'm in the phase of filmmaking where you're not in that social aspect, right?
Yeah.
During production, you're with tons of people sharing a bunch of ideas.
Yeah.
In the writing stages, it's probably the most intimate part of the whole process. So right now, I'm in a very intimate space in my creativity.
I understand that, and like obviously with like animating, I'm like in the dark, hunched over, like you know, working.
Yeah, that's another intimate space.
I think that's part of the thing that drives me insane. It's like once I animate for a few hours, I'm just like fucking like, oh my god. I need to get out of this apartment and like see the light of day. It's the same as editing. Like when you're editing and you're just like hunched over in the dark for hours and you're
just looking at a screen.
Your back is hurting and you're just like, oh my god, I need to like know that like other humans exist again. Because like you get so into like creativeness that you just like lose the sense of reality or something. Yeah. Like it's so like crazy.
No, I think being creative is losing touch with reality because you are creating a world. You're creating something.
And that's a satisfying part, but it's also what drives you crazy.
Exactly.
That's why I feel so bad, dude, for like all these guys who did like The Nightmare Before Christmas and stuff like that. It's like Tim Burton, right? Like
back before you could just animate with like a bunch of like screens and stuff like that when they would actually do like hand clay animation.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, I'm not talking about like CG animation like Frozen or something, but like that still would be backbreaking because it's still like the same fundamentals. It would just be you'd be looking at a screen instead of actually moving a character.
I see.
But like,
what would you prefer doing for hours?
100%, I would prefer doing the claymation because you get to see how cool it looks in person.
That's true.
I've already been hunched over at a computer screen for hours on hours.
It's not the move.
It's just not the same type of magic. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine like you're doing The Nightmare Before Christmas and you get to see Jack Skellington as you're moving him. And although you can fuck it up much easier because if you actually knock him over or something, you fuck it up, more rewarding.
That's true.
Yeah.
High risk, high reward.
Exactly. I think so. I know some people can't watch that type of thing, but I love Nightmare Before Christmas.
I think it might be definitely top 5 for me in terms of Halloween films, and it's not the 5th.
Isn't it cool?
I don't even think it's the 4th.
Like, don't you feel cool watching that and being like, this is real? Because like,
wait, what?
Like it's physical, like it's real, like you can touch it.
Oh, I thought you.
No, not like it's like a real person.
Yeah, I was like, I've never had that.
Like think about it like this.
Before Christmas.
There's no like you know, if you were to walk into like an office that were working on Frozen 3, it would be a bunch of computers. But if you were to walk in an office that's doing The Nightmare Before Christmas 2...
You might have, like, old models of, like, all the different, like, designs.
Yeah, and you could see, like, the scene that they're in the middle of doing. It's just so much cooler to walk in on. Like,
yeah. No, it is cooler. It's definitely way cooler.
So when you watch it, you're like, this is real. Like, these are photos.
No, exactly. No, I love because when he goes on, like, that weird, like, cliff thing and, like, it curls.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, wow, like... It feels more alive, I feel.
Yeah, and it's also like real. You're looking at like real objects. It's just so much. It means so much more to me for some reason. I don't know why.
I feel like a computer tries to do a lot to try and sell you the idea that what's in the image is really there.
Yeah.
But there's always like this. There's something about like the quirkiness of real life things that just make it like, oh, no, this is better.
Yeah.
You know, like my eyes like looking at this more.
Yeah,
you know? Like I feel like with the clay from Nightmare Before Christmas, there's always like little smudges of like fingers. And,
exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like it's just off slightly.
I love how the Lego Movie did it because although it's like a CG movie, they tried to imitate like stop motion, which is really
pretty closely.
And they like did those little scenes where they like have like the big tower. I don't know if you remember this. There's like a big tower that like Will Ferrell's character's in. Mm-hmm. Will Ferrell? Yeah. Wait, Ferrell? Wait, am I saying Ferrell? Am I saying that wrong?
Yeah,
why does his last name sound so weird to me? Anyway, so it's like the big tower, and then it like does like a wide shot, and it's just like the tower's like the top of the tower's like lifted off, and it's like brrr, like it's flying. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
I haven't seen that movie in a while.
But like basically like the big top of the tower is just to break off into a big ship and fly away.
Yeah.
But instead of doing like a like this epic scene, they just like cut to a wide shot and they show it like being like poop. It's like
I do remember that.
It's like very it looks real. Like it looks like and that maybe that part actually was like real.
And part of the story, right? Oh, wait. I guess I can't spoil anything from the late. When did the late?
That was like 2014.
I'll do a loose spoiler.
Was that 2014? Goddamn, that's like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Damn, we're so old.
Yeah.
Oh my god, no way.
But the Lego Movie, part of the beauty of it is that it is supposed to be like, you know, a world that like real people go and play in, and they're like having fun with each other, and like, you know, that's part of the story.
Yeah.
So the fact they did it that way is like, oh.
No, I love it. I like when you do CG if you try to bring at least a little bit of real world into it. But then again, I mean, I love some CG movies that are completely fake, like The Incredibles. Like,
yes, I think what really matters is just the story first and foremost. If your story is good, it really doesn't matter what medium you put it in. It's gonna execute.
Yeah, I think I love the imperfection of stop motion.
Yeah, it's just that when it comes to aesthetics, right? It just comes to this like, what style do you kind of prefer?
Yeah.
Something I can touch.
Yeah.
Something I can actually just, you know, like...
No, it's cool.
Poke and touch and feel.
And Jack Skellington, I don't know, I just love that they...
I think he's a really cool design. Like
yeah,
weird,
so
lanky,
cool.
big-ass head.
It's so cool that he's, like, real. Like, he's, like... He, like, took up space in, like, the physical world.
And what was that villain? You know the villain with the hacky sack-looking body?
Oh,
Boogie? Is it?
I can't remember the name.
Was it the Boogie Monster? Oogie Boogie?
I can't remember the name, but I think...
Boogeyman? I think it was Boogeyman.
Yeah.
I can't be sure. So Tim Burton fans, I'm sorry. You can correct me in the comments or something. But I love the way he looks. Yeah. Like, because he like flaps around too, and it's really unsettling.
Yeah, yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
Tim Burton. We should watch A Nightmare Before Christmas.
Wait, is that a Tim Burton movie?
Yeah, I think so.
Because the last time I thought that like something was a Tim Burton movie, actually just wasn't, but it was inspired. Like, you know, is it Coraline?
Is Coraline not a Tim Burton?
Coraline is not a Tim Burton movie.
Really?
But it looks like it should be a Tim Burton movie.
Alright, let me check Nightmare Before Christmas so I don't...
Yeah, I don't want to be praises to Tim Burton and it's like some director that's just, you know...
Oh, did you want to say some things about Werewolf by Night even though I haven't seen
it? Yes. Okay, so out of the two of us, I happen to have seen Werewolf by Night. It was... if you're curious to watch it, I think you should definitely watch it. It's not really a, like, Marvel project. I feel like... She-Hulk is clearly a Marvel project. All the movies are. But this just felt like someone wanted to make an old, classic werewolf horror story, and they executed on that. And yes, like, if you are a Marvel Comics fan, you might pick up some things here or there, but it's really not necessary for this one. This is just a nice, cool, classic horror film, so...
yeah.
Yeah, I'd say if you want to watch some spooky horror movies... You know, for Halloween, definitely throw it on. It's a really good. It's only like 50 minutes. It's not like a whole, hour long, 2 hour long, movie.
Yeah, it's a nice little short for you to check out. So
it's a feature, but it's a
short feature. Tim Burton was one of the writers, but the director was Henry Selick.
That's what I was thinking. It's Tim Burton didn't do Coraline, but it clearly looks like it's influenced.
No, Tim Burton was a part of this though.
Okay,
and it's called Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Nightmare Before Christmas.
It's literally called Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas.
So it is. So Tim Burton did. So he didn't direct it.
He's not the director, but I don't know what the director does on a stop motion like this.
That's a good point.
Like did Tim Burton animate it himself? I don't know. But here's another fun fact. You know Danny Elfman? Isn't he like a composer or something?
He did the music for Batman 1989? 99?
Something like that.
And he did Spider-Man.
Apparently he's the singing voice for Jack Skellington.
That's hilarious.
I didn't know he sang, I guess.
Alright, go you, Danny.
But he's not the regular voice. That's Chris.
Does he do the composing too, or no?
That's a good question. How do I look at it?
It'd be really funny if he was a singer but wasn't hired as the composer.
Let's see.
Like Michael Giacchino, who directed Werewolf
No, he
by
was.
Night.
Yeah, he was the composer.
He was also the composer. So.
Yeah.
Danny Elfman too.
Yeah,
okay,
he was
good.
the composer. Yeah.
I would say, like, it's weird when you get a composer and not let them compose. Like, let them.
Yeah, let your composer compose.
Yeah, bro.
Anyway, that might do it for this episode. It's been going on. We've been going at it for a minute now.
We have been going at it for a minute now. Just trying to make sure that we covered all of our bases.
We covered. Yeah. What are we talked about a lot today.
I don't. We always try to review what we talk about, but I feel like our talking is such a stream of conscious. I can't remember.
Well, we talked about like Black Adam and Shazam, and then we talked about what did we talk about? Oh my gosh.
Streaming services. And we talked about Halloween and...
Yeah. And we talked about cuffing season.
Cuffing and hoeing season. Don't forget that. Cuffing and hoeing season, alright? You cuff, but once you're done with your cuff, you hoe. Man, woman, not a man, woman, it doesn't matter.
I've never heard anybody describe it this way before.
Really?
No, you're the first person.
Man, welcome. I don't think hoeing
season is an actual thing. I think you just made that up.
I'm not making it up, bro. I've heard it somewhere and I started saying
You've heard somebody say this?
Hoeing, yeah, like hoe season.
I've never heard of that before.
You've never heard of hoe season? It's because you're not a hoe.
Oh, thanks, Sean.
Hey,
on that note.
I think it might be better to be a hoe, depending on the circumstance.
Oh.
You know?
Well,
anyway,
it's almost Christmas.
Exactly. If you're in your cuffing season, get your cuff on. If you're in your hoeing phase, get out there. You know what I mean? Be outside. Be outside. Have fun.
Merry Christmas.
That comes later. Don't do that too early now. We're still in October.
All right.
Happy Halloween. This is your boy, King Kudjo.
And this is your guy, Cough dropping from another sky.
That's hard. Yeah.
I
guess I'll see you later. 2 Chainz.
Peace.